that time of the day again, or the week, or the year, or the century, but it is time for another one match preview. This time, Agent 10 is up against Agent 20. If you get the gist. Because Man United versus 20. 10 hard versus 20 hard. Your Dutch manager meet Dutch team. You catch the drift. No, okay, never mind. I tried, but another stat pad again, another confidence booster, another free flowing, free goal scoring evening at Old Trafford, such as was the Barnsley game. I think it's fair to say that the opponent's a little bit more difficult than Barnsley, but nonetheless, it is a Dutch team, not one of the top end of the table teams, but more sort of middle of the pack. But you know what, Twente, they qualified to Europa League competitions through the league last season, so they're in it for a reason. They're in the competition for a reason, and I'm sure that they will have plenty of tools at their disposal to incite an upset result or a shock result. And Manchester United always got to be alive to the risk, alive to the danger, and play our stuff. If we want to take away from that Crystal Palace result, is that if we could actually finish, a wank, let alone some shots, then maybe, just maybe, Manchester United would be winning games quite comfortably. But here we are, put 7 past Barnsley, very next game, failed to score. If that ain't Man United, I don't know what is. But this time, I think a little less pressure. I'm expecting a little bit more of a different story with the next Europa League game, which is Porto away. That's a Champions League fixture, that is. But Porto sat in Europa League. Oh well. Yeah, we've got some tests coming up. Do Manchester United, and I don't think it really starts from tomorrow. I think it's going to start more on the weekend when we have Tottenham come to visit us. Because after that, of course, Porto away midweek, and then Aston Villa away. And the games don't really get that much easier until after Chelsea. But besides that, must win nonetheless, and we need it to be a confidence booster, because where the league is very much imperative to maximizing points accumulation, we need to be making the most of these midweek games as opportunities for players to find some form, to find the back of the net, and to sort of get more time, more minutes under the belt. And it's looking like we are slowly but surely heading back to a completely full and fit available squad. Now that Lindelof and Malacia have rejoined training, the only players that would be missing after them would be Luke Shaw and Lenny Oro. And I can't imagine that they're going to be out for a huge amount of time longer. I think they were penned in to come back sort of mid to late October time. I think Lenny Oren may be into November, but yeah, I think relatively sooner or later we should be more or less back to full squad fitness, which would be a nice thing. It would be a nice change for Man United, because then there are no injury excuses. Everyone's available. All the tools are available. and make the most of it. Maximize the usage of the squad and use the depth. You've got the depth available there. Because I mean, the quality of players that we had on the bench against Palace, there was quite a lot of players you could bring on to actually change the approach of style of play, and plenty of players that you can come on that can have the ability to impose a change or impact on the pitch. So, um, again, Twente probably going to see the same sort of thing, maybe a little bit of rotation, not a huge amount. Um, but I'm curious as to see what sort of a team we'll get. I think there were predicted lineups popped out, um, which that's gone a bit haywire there. If I can scroll and find, um, I'll see. Oh, apparently Samuel Lusale. I think Lusale. I'll go with Lusale. Signed with Manchester United officially from Crystal Palace. But yeah, it's interesting. Okay, Lenny Oro started his recuperation. He started the basic fitness work, so he's on the way. Lenny Oro is on the way back. Not long left to go. But yeah, I think it was like the predicted lineups that they went with were, I think, Nana in goal. I think he had, I think he had Delo left back with Mazraoui at right back, Delict and Maguire as the starting centre back partnership, um, and actually went with an Agate and Casemiro defensive partnership, which should be interesting. It was the same partnership that was used in the midfield, I believe, um, towards the end of the game against Southampton. Although I think Ugarte, no, actually it was because Ugarte came on in that game because he wasn't started. So also Casemiro um, came off the bench as well because it was Ericsson minor in that one. So yeah, it was an interesting lineups. I think Rashford starts, Fernandez, Ahmad Diallo, and then Xerxes up top. So an interesting lineup, quite a strong lineup, and that's the good thing about it because there are so various different, you know, combinations that you can make there. There's different players that you can swap out and pop in, and the team equally is just as strong, but under a different, you know, a different ideology. Like it perhaps needs to play a slightly different way, or in a certain position, the tactical approach needs to change slightly. Just fine adjustments, tune the team a little bit, tinker the team a little bit. Though technically, in top flight football, tinkering is not necessarily a good thing because you want to build some consistency. But it's good to know that plan B is fairly strong as well, that you can rotate players around a little bit. Um, but yeah, it's good to see that Malacia is in first team training with the group. He is on the pitch and getting involved with the warm ups, there, which is good. It's good. I think Luke Shaw's probably going to be out of the picture for quite a while, supposedly. So I think, yeah, I think it's on the cards. January, if you want to sign anybody, it's probably going to be a left back. So yeah, just confirming the prediction for Rashford starting is that Marcus Rashford is expected to start against Twente tomorrow, with either Garnacho or Diallo likely to drop out the starting lineup. My best bet is that it'll be Garnacho going to the bench again. I think, I think it's going to be Garnacho dropping to the bench. News about Kones. Okay, so training squad against Twente went with Ben, Heaton, Onana, Harrison, Lindelof, Masraoui, Delic, Maguire, Martinez, Malacia, Dalot, Evans, Mount, Fernandez, Ericsson, Casemiro, Ugarte, Mainu, Collier, Hoyland, Rashford, Xerxes, Ahmad, Garnacho, and Anthony. There's not really a lot of players missing there. Yeah, there's barely any significant players missing there. But ultimately, what matters is what happens on the football pitch tomorrow night. Ultimately, what matters is putting in a good shift, putting in some good work, and putting in a convincing, resounding performance with a confidently attained result. There's a few things, quite a few things that we need to look forward to in this game. Um, is there a possibility of an upset result? Potentially, potentially. I mean, in Europa League, unless the opponent you're playing against does a Wi-Fi password for a name, I think if it's a recognised name, then they've got more than enough ability to hurt you. Um, and this is no offense to teams that have just really complicated names, but if it's something that you look at the club crest and immediately go, I know that team, usually it's because they've got significant enough quality to be in that position playing against other opposition of a similar, if not higher standard. Manchester United, I think, will find an interesting test. I wouldn't say that will necessarily see us losing this game. I mean, it'll be ridiculous if we were to lose this game. To lose or even draw it, to even draw this game would be ridiculous. I'm looking at sort of like a 4-5-0 type game. This one, maybe we lapse concentration, concede a goal or something. But ultimately, I think in terms of chance creation, we just need to be persistent. Persistent chance creation. I think Xerxes, the work he provides. I mean, the amount of chances he set up for the likes of Garnacho and Fernandez against Palace was ridiculous, and still no goals. So for me, Xerxes got to play because he's imperative to linking things up and making things happen for our two wingers. I think Diallo's going to find chances. Rashford should find chances, and hopefully with Rashford he can actually finish. Get keepers shooting on target and score a couple goals at the very least. Um, Fernandez is going to have another game, supposedly. For me, it'd be nice to see um, perhaps Ericsson in that number 10 position. I don't know if Mount's quite fully fit enough yet, but I would like to see. I would like to see Ericsson get another start in the number 10 position. And then you'll have the likes of your Casemiro and Ugarte behind. I think fairly experienced, a lot of know-how, um, a lot of combative features. Two players that you'd say very aggressive, very aggressive. So I listen. If it doesn't work out, then we're screwed. But I'm sure it should. But that is not a midfield you want to go play against. If you value the well-being of your physical health, I think you probably wouldn't want spend 90 minutes on a football pitch with two very aggressive defensive midfielders. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. As in terms of boxing styles, styles make fights, and it's going to be interesting. Styles of player, tactics, and approach levels. It's going to be an interesting game, one that can go all sorts of different directions. But I think, in terms of approach, no change to tactical approaches, just more sort of open chance creation, and hopefully the conversion to match it. Because if we can score the goals, they'll get my 2 thumbs up. So yeah, I'll go with a 4/5-0 result to Manchester United. Now I predicted that it's probably going to be like the scariest 1-0 win you've ever seen. But touch wood, knock on wood, and touch this wood over here, and then touch this wood down here. That it all pays off, that we get that we do make our own luck. So, I prefer to make your own luck rather than sort of riding on the luck of the universe, luck of the draw. For me, make your own luck and make things happen. Get shit done. But yeah, in terms of the predicted lineup, it's I wouldn't necessarily I'm against it at all, but I mean I'm always edgy when I see Maguire in that team. I'm always edgy, and Rashford and Maguire always get a bit edgy when I see those two. Or yeah, it's a little bit clapped, but rest of the team can't really have too much to complain about. Maybe Bayindir could have been given a nod here, quite possibly, but who knows? Who knows? But yeah, leave your thoughts and your feelings and your predictions in the comment section down below, and don't forget as well, whilst you're here and on the way out, that you are smashing those likes and subscribing and sharing the content around. And yes, hopefully tomorrow night after the match reaction, we are talking in a glowingly positive tone of voice, a very praising tone of voice, and hopefully one that gives the fan base something to hold on to going into this weekend. Because I'll tell you what, Tottenham Hotspur, I really, really want to beat them. I do, just so badly. I just want to beat them. And if we can embarrass them, then hell, that's even better. But who knows with this Man United team under this manager? Who knows? Who bloody knows anymore? Anyways, take care, everybody, and we'll see you again tomorrow for the fallout of Manchester United versus Twente. Until then, take care, and we'll speak to you again soon.